Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Monday, the 24th of November. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Iberia has announced that there has been a data breach via one of its suppliers. So if you are a customer of Iberia, bear in mind a certain amount of information has been lost. Customer names, emails, club card, Iberia club card loyalty IDs, which bear in mind may fuel loyalty card fraud. There is a lot of that goes on, as I'm sure you're well aware. They are saying at the moment that your actual Iberia account hasn't been compromised, so your information, your financial information, for example, and your presumably your flight history may well have been compromised if they got your club card information. Not sure, it's unclear, but financial information, as far as we can tell, hasn't been breached as of yet. But if you are an Iberia customer, if you do fly Iberia and you have got an Iberia club loyalty ID, bear in mind the information there may well have leaked, so be cautious of targeted fraud based around the fact that they know you're an Iberia customer and fly Iberia. So an interesting one here. Google has enabled Pixel to iPhone file sharings, so which is basically joining Google's Android's Quick Share with Apple's AirDrop. Interesting concept, I hear you say, or not. However, just be aware, if you're not expecting that to work, be aware that it might. Now, AirDrop and QuickShare and the like come with a host of security challenges, most of which well known, well documented now, and can be dealt with by switching off certain features. Don't sit there with your iPhone accepting airdrops from anyone. Perhaps limit it to known contacts, or alternatively, if you're not expecting somebody to airdrop you links, files, or whatever it may be, turn it off and turn it on when you need it would be a good thing. So yeah, bear in mind that now you can end up having things dropped to your phone from if you're on an iPhone, users of Android may also do that, or vice versa. It's an interesting capability. It's been done without the developers at Android having any support from Apple. They've just managed to code it themselves. Which is, I think, an interesting approach. Although in the open source world, getting the same outcome without having to borrow any code has been a long-standing approach to dealing with most things. But also bear in mind, if you run a Mac, AirDrop works on Macs, so presumably Android devices can now drop things onto Macs as well. So interesting development, certainly one that you might want to think about if you're concerned about the security of file shares and so on and so forth. And then finally from me, this one made me laugh. Finally from me today, Cryptography Boffins Association is to rerun its election to the board after losing encryption key needed to count votes. You couldn't make it up. So the International Association for Cryptographic Research periodically runs elections to elect people onto the association's board. The way these things work, somebody's got to run the association, haven't they? Yeah. Well, in order to prevent fraud, and for very solid reasons, they have a 3-part encryption key, and 3 association members hold separate parts of the key. The idea being that, well, if one person has the whole key, then they could rig the election. 2 people might collude, but the likelihood of 3 people colluding is unlikely. Well, you can see there is some logic in that, especially in a small association. But when I say small, it's probably not that small, but you know what I mean. It's like, not millions of members, I suspect. However, one of them's lost the key, so they're going to have to. Well, having the election has been run, and presumably the results are valid if only anybody could read them, but they can't. So they're going to have to rerun the elections in order to yes, be able to see who it is that they have elected. So whilst I find this amusing, probably says more about me than it does about the situation. But one thing I would say is this demonstrates the importance of securing and maintaining access to encryption keys. I kind of think we've forgotten all about this. I've worked in the past in organizations where they only had 2-part keys, but for every device that had encryption, the key had to be put in manually by 2 people. They also had like 2 key safes and so on. They were a very security focused organization. So the concept has been around for a while. We sort of forget this, and we just think of encryption keys as being, well, in fact, I don't think most people even know where their keys are or what their keys are. And when you've got stuff like biometric authentication going on your devices these days, and passkey this and passkey that, where are your passkeys? What are your passkeys? Do you know anything about any of this stuff? How come it all just works? Well, have a think about that one, perhaps. Okay, that's all from me for today. I hope you have a good start to the week, and I'll speak to you all again tomorrow morning.